So we're going to bring up, we actually have one of our ambassadors here all the way from the UK, the United Kingdom. We're going to bring him on next to share a little bit about, hope and how he brings hope in our world. And he is just such a unique individual, so incredible leader. He is the owner and the founder and CEO of organization in the UK, and also runs, get this, ladies and gentlemen, over 200 WhatsApp groups that he manages and facilitates, and brings just so much hope to hundreds and thousands of people every single day in these groups that he's involved with, and in networking and bringing people together. He's one of the most influential networkers, connectors, human beings that I've ever met in my entire life. And I've met just some amazing people through his group and through the connections that he's recommended. So it is an absolute honor today to bring up Marc Jarrett and have him speak on hope today. So welcome, Marc. It's so great to have you here. Thank you so much for being patient through this whole entire broadcast. We're so happy you're here and just cannot wait to hear your message of hope here today.
Hope is dope, Nadine.
Hope is dope. I love it.
Put the TM next to it. So, hi everyone, my name's Marc. I'm a professional networker, and I'm going to read out to you an article that I've written as being part of the this wonderful movement that Nadine has created. It's called How Hope Saved My Life. I'm so glad my mother and father met, for without them, I would not have come into existence. They made me, and I'm so glad they did. But there have been times where I wish they hadn't. And the line, I sometimes wish I hadn't been born at all, from Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, really resonated. The seeds of my mental melancholy were sown when, aged 7, my parents split up. Between them, it was decided I should live with my mother. But it soon became evident that she loved alcohol more than she loved me. And I spent most of my formative years acting in loco parentis to this Jekyll and Hyde individual. Sober, she was a delight to be with. But whilst intoxicated, she morphed into a monster. Which is why I spent my teenage years hoping that she would not drink. But she did, often. This caused me much pain, but I soon discovered my own bad habits which helped me mask it. Gambling was one of them. For when I was playing slot machines, which are known as fruit machines in the UK or pokies in Australia, the world outside didn't matter. I felt safe in my zone of escapism. Pornography was another. Both of these addictions gave me the dopamine I craved to escape reality. Of course, hope effectively powers gambling, the hope of hitting the jackpot, which I did, often. But all it bought me was more time to engage in this utterly self-destructive habit, which has cost me around £250,000. My chaotic relationship with money continued throughout my adult life. But one thing my stint as a futures broker at London's World Trade Centre taught me was that money does not make one happy. I met plenty of people who had money in abundance, but were utterly paranoid and miserable individuals. Having experienced what it's like to have money and not to have it, I was motivated to write an article called Money Does Not Make You Happy, but it's impossible to be happy without it. In it, I conclude that the best thing about having money is that it affords us the opportunity not to have to worry about it. About 25 years ago, I concluded that I was unemployable and decided to employ myself. Besides, I've never been particularly good at being told what to do. However, it's famine or feast being self-employed. The bad news is there is no safety net in the form of a monthly paycheck. The good news is that the sky's the limit as far as income potential is concerned. And the freedom to take a day off work whenever you want is priceless, in my opinion. Then, a few years ago, I had a famine year and I found myself impetuous. Whilst this is stressful in and of itself, perhaps even more stressful is the fact that I did not think I was really good at much. When I was employed in what seems like an epoch ago, I was not much good at executing the tasks that I was being paid for. I experienced a crisis of confidence and I was not sure exactly who I was. But it was the inability to pay the rent and the bills which caused the most stress. One man takes his life every 2 hours in the United Kingdom. I almost became one of them. For us men are hardwired to provide for our families. When we can't, it makes us feel sad. So sad that we feel that the world would be better off without us. What prevented ideation becoming reality was hope. So in my book, Hope is Dope. It has saved my life. Hope is an optimistic state of mind that is based on an expectation that positive outcomes with respect to events and circumstances will change in one's life or the world at large. One of the positives occasioned by the novel coronavirus COVID-19 is that it is a shared experience. The word pandemic is derived from the Greek pandemios, which means of or belonging to the people. We are all in this together. As we emerge from it, hope is the invisible glue that binds us all together. Hope that life gets back to normal. The hope for a better future. Like laughter, hope is the great equalizer. Young or old, black or white, rich or poor, we all hope. An Italian proverb states that hope is the last thing ever lost. Hope is the one thing that can get us through the darkest of times. Fast forward to now, and I find myself in a much better place. This is partly thanks to my long-suffering wife, Dorrit, who has pointed out to me that I should focus on what I am good at, and that is connecting people. During my lifetime, I have accumulated a large global network of extraordinary individuals doing great things. We are all familiar with the expression, your network is your net worth. I would take issue with that. If that was true, I'd be a millionaire. However, I remain hopeful that one day it will ring true and I can call myself one. In the meantime, it has been wonderful witnessing virtual morph into reality as people who have met one another in the 222 WhatsApp group ecosystem I have created meet each other in person for the first time. I have been extolling the virtues of virtual networking long before the pandemic, not least because it saves so much time, money, and carbon. We are all hardwired to grow our tribes by engaging in this ubiquitous socio-economic activity. At the end of the day, business boils down to people and trust. By creating an environment where people feel safe to engage with one another, good things happen. Friendships are being forged. And ultimately, that's what life is all about, relationships. Relationships with our family, our friends, and fellow human beings in general. Knowing that I am helping create them gives me hope. Amen.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Marc, that was so powerful in all of what you just shared there. Thank you so much for that. That was just, I don't even have words to describe what you just said there because there's so much packed in what you shared of the truth and what
Does it give you hope?
To give you hope. Yeah. It's the
Good.
glue that binds us together. That's the one thing that pops back right now. That's powerful. The glue that binds us together. Isn't that just take a moment, everybody, just to let that sink in. Hope is the glue. And I'm going to add one word to that: actionable hope is the glue that binds us together, because we can hope all day long. It's that action that's that glue that creates change, and massive change, in a world of uncertainty and hopelessness, because that's all hope is. And I had a conversation with a psychologist a few days ago, and we were talking about what is hope, right? What is really hope? And as we had this discussion, it came up that hope is basically a learned helplessness. When we learn things through conditioning as children, it creates this sense of hopelessness through false hope. The way that the society tells you things, you do this, you're going to get this, and then you do that, and then you don't get that, right? That creates this sense of learned helplessness, that we can sometimes do things and sometimes we don't get the results that we want, or what we're expecting. But when we take actionable hope, when we have the actions that are in alignment with our morals and our values and who we truly are, which I call our personal mission statement, that's when we create this sense of hope that is long lasting, that will last for many generations. And as Eliza was saying too, many generations. She mentioned her grandmothers, right, and the difficulties that they went through. So how can we show up by taking hope and taking action to help even break those old patterns and ways of being that no longer serve us or our family or our lineage or for our children, right, and the next generation to come? It's change makers through changing the multi-generational patterning that gets passed down. And it's the way that you network and bring people together, Marc, is I just have such a deep respect for you and all you do, and the amazing, wonderful, incredible people and beautiful friendships that I have formed from the groups that you're in the introduction. So I just thank you for being you, for being here, for sharing your story, for being one of our ambassadors of hope, and focusing on and sharing your story of gambling, because this is very real for many people, and a lot of people don't speak about the things that really need to be told about this truth. So it takes a lot of tremendous courage to stand up and be ourselves and be authentic. But what lies on the other side for people, and even if there's one person listening to this today that it's one part of our stories resonate with, it's all worth it. It's worth showing up. It's worth sharing. It's worth taking that courage forward to make that change and make that lasting change. So I thank you for who you are. What's one last word of advice you would leave for people? If you could say one last thing for people who are struggling, what would that be?
Well, as you know, I'm a networking enthusiast. I would say networking is like opening a bank account. You cannot make a withdrawal until you make a deposit. So it's all about serving others and helping people.
I love that. Thank you. That's the perfect way to end. I think that's exactly it, right? Serving others brings hope to ourselves, brings hope to others, and that's a win-win. And that's what we need more of collaborative win-win relationships, acquaintances, partnerships in our world, period. So thank you for ending on that note. You're a blessing, my brother. Thank you so much. Much love to you always. And I just can't wait to see all that's to come. So thank you so much again for being here today.